Hi guys, and welcome back. Today I am hopefully starting something that will be a series that will continue for a while called Throwback Thursday. And the reason I'm calling it Throwback Thursday is I will be using old paper packets from close to my heart that I have just been, we won't say hoarding, we'll say collecting for quite a while. So there's this beautiful paper packet that's called Feels Like Home that's a few years old. How old, I'm really not sure. And so I'm calling it Throwback because I'm going back to older paper packets to scrapbook some photos. Now, I've already pre-cut these papers to save some time on this video. And I'm using Make It From Your Heart, Volume 5. I'm using pattern 9, and loosely, my 2-page spread will be based on this. The only thing I'm going to video the process is this first page, and again, it's going to be loosely. And let me share a little about these photos. So these photos are of my beautiful grand that just passed this year in June. These photos were taken in 1957 when my grand was getting ready to turn 31. They were taken in May and she turned 31 in August. And then that's my aunt. She's 4. And my granny had taken my dad down to Fort Knox to see his dad. And my daddy's not in these photos because he's on the base with his dad. And so these are just some of her Army wife friends that she made as being an Army wife. And so I feel like these pictures will be beautiful on this paper. I also have this Coordinating Feels Like Home scrapbooking stamp set that I'll be using. And I will be using Intense Black, Charcoal, and Sugar Plum. I also have the Sugar Plum Shimmer Pen. So I am going to go ahead and get started. Let me just kind of organize things a little. I've already pre-cut my paper, and this paper is so beautiful. I don't want to waste any of it. How I've let it sit on a shelf this long is beyond me. And so you'll notice that I have gutted everything, okay? So I'm using the, do I want to use the light side, or I think I want to use the light side of charcoal, and I've gutted that. And then this is that Sugar Plum. We have a new paper now that sort of resembles this, mulberry. And then this is a beautiful, just a leaf pattern. And on the back side of that is this gorgeous, like, plank. And so I've gutted those two pieces so I would still have that. And I'm going to show you how. And all I'm doing right now is just putting down some tape to tack this, because when that page goes on, I'll flip it over and just put Scotch tape behind it to hold it all together, which I won't do that on camera. That'll just take up time, and I don't want to do that. And so all I'm doing now is just putting some adhesive on. I was really inspired to, there's so many new products coming out and close to my heart. And I'm really bad for example, this pack of paper, buying paper that I love, and then thinking I'm going to use it right away, and then not being able to use it right away, and sticking it on a shelf. And then now I'm at a point that if I don't start using some of this stuff, I'm either going to have to sell it or donate it because I'm running out of space. And I do not want to. When I actually pulled this paper pack from the bag yesterday and saw how gorgeous this paper is, I was like, are you kidding me? I am not going to miss out on how beautiful this paper is and let it just sit there on a shelf. And so that really just kind of inspired this. And so every Thursday I will have a video that is a Throwback Thursday video. And to help me, it's going to be sort of twofold purpose behind it for me. My intention is to scrap these older photos of my granny as well. I know there's very little of that. Let me just hold this up and make sure I'm straight here. Looks pretty good to me. So what will happen is I'll flip this over and Scotch tape the back. Okay? And so now I am ready to, and you know what? I wanted to ink around the edges, but I'm okay. So now I am ready to start building this page together. And I've pre-cut everything already. I think I want this to go completely across the page as opposed to just being these widths. And then this is going to kind of go here. And then I think I wanted this strip is going to kind of go there. I'm just laying it out. And then I love this mink plaid. I thought about incorporating some of that green, but since my photos are black and white, I wanted to go with that kind of mink color. Let's see how I want. I think I kind of want it like this. And then this stamp, Love the Simple Life, is going to go right there. And then I'll have a little floral here and a little floral there. Love it. Love it. Okay. So, I think I'm ready to start attaching things down, making sure that they're straight. And just to keep my page from wiggling around, I'm going to put a little adhesive on my mat. And I explained in one of my last videos why I don't do voiceovers. I am extremely busy and have several different responsibilities. And I just don't have the time, unfortunately, that it takes to do voiceovers. So any of you that watch my videos, I hope that it doesn't deter you from watching the video because I don't do voiceovers. Oops, that's extremely crooked. And I do think I will pull in just a little sapphire. I don't think I'll pull in a lot, but I will add just a bit or two here and there of sapphire, just because I think that sapphire will look really pretty with these colors. That to line up at 7. And then this piece and this piece are zip strips. I love it. I love it. And so I think what I want to do, I want that photo matted. Let me see. I'll use the light side of Mink to mat this photo. And so these photos, we were going through, I've always loved, since I was little, and this is probably why I love the scrapbook. I've always looked at my granny's photos in her albums as a child, and we were going through some of her albums after she passed, and I took photos just with my phone of these black and whites, and I knew that I wanted to scrapbook these and continue to tell her story. And because of that, now I want to get these done. I want to get these finished and scrapbooked while I still have my dad and my aunt to tell me. And my granny had told me over the years who these people were, but you know, I kept thinking, oh, I've got time. I've got time. I've got time. We don't have time. So my advice to you is old photos like this, if you're a scrapbooker and you know you want to tell those stories, or even if you don't want to tell those stories but you just want to know who those people are, don't put off asking who they are. Do not put that off. And there we go. Isn't that pretty? I just love these colors. And my granny just had the most infectious, beautiful smile. Infectious, beautiful smile. And then this page came with these cut aparts. And I love this. I probably will use that cut apart. And I love that this one is black and white. I love this vintage one of a kind. There's just so much and so many different ways I can use this paper. Love it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to line that up, butt edge up against that. And then I'm going to tell the story right about there. But something I want to do before I get started, pull in a plastic bag just to cover that photo. I should have done this prior, but I didn't. I don't know that I'm going to have. Normally I have my all-purpose mat out. I'm just going to put some shimmer. And this color is beautiful. And that's going to form a visual triangle right there. And I'll just wipe that off. This sugar plum is a beautiful color. And that is going to add a visual triangle for us, okay? And I think now I'm ready to, I'm going to put this down, and then I'll be ready to stamp and color and embellish. And look at this. This is one of the pieces of paper. I cannot wait to use that. But I did want to use this just for journaling, because I love how pretty that is, and I wanted that to be a journaling piece. Journaling spot for me. And hopefully that's straight. I left the adhesive off on this side for this, and then I'm probably going to tuck a little here and there. So I've done my stamping, most of my stamping, and placed things where I think they will go. And so now I'm just trying to put, because I'm going to have layers, I'm trying to think about where things are going to go here. I really like this. So I am going to stamp the Simple Life right about here. And that's going to happen first. And I'm just going to pick it up right where it's at. I'm going to stamp that with Intense Black. Just seasoning my stamp up because this is, obviously, it's an old stamp, but a new stamp. And so I'm just going to use some Intense Black. And I'm just going to lay that just for reference of placement. Make sure that's stamped up good. And I'm praying I don't get my head in the camera. If I do, forgive me. I need to be right over that to make sure I'm somewhat straight. Oh, I love it. I just cannot believe. I'm still struggling with knowing how beautiful this paper is and that it sat there on my shelf. Okay, and next up, I'm going to use this little sprig because it pulls that in. I'm not going to color it. That's going to stay black and white. I just want to echo that little detail there. And then that little flower, I think I may color that flower, so I'm not going to put that, I'm not going to attach that just yet. I don't know why I'm putting my ink away, because I have more stamping to do. Okay, this says, let's stay home. I'm going to stamp that, but I'm going to remove the ink from this piece right here, okay? So, and I'll stamp that on a different paper. I think I want this little sprig, and I'm going to need to use this stamp because it's larger. I want it to come, I want that flower to come off of that sprig, so to speak. And I love that I can layer this up the way I want to. And then I'm going to move this out of the way. And I'm going to have a little sprig. I'm going to pull this down so I don't get my head in the camera. And it will all be covered up except a little piece of that there, okay? And then let me decide here. Where I'm going to want some. Got to be careful not to get ink on my block. That would be disastrous. And so this is just going to add some layers and some texture around what we already have here. And I think that's all I'm going to do on that particular layer. Oops. Now I want to go back to my smaller block. And then I'm going to pull that little piece about right there. I love the layers that this is going to add. And so now I am going to, I think I want to stamp this. It says, let's stay home. And I think what I'm going to do is stamp this on some, I'm going to stamp it on a piece of this sugar plum cardstock. And I am going to stamp it with black, season it. And then I have a wet Q-tip. And I'm just going to take the Q-tip. And it's not like soaking wet. It's just a damp Q-tip. And I'm removing the ink from that says, let's stay home. And then I'm going to huff. And now I get just that. And now we'll just, I'm just going to fussy cut that. And it doesn't have to be perfect. This is just going to be a place where I put my date. Well, technically it'll be the year. So I'm going to go ahead and add that on. And this is May 1957. And I'm just going to add a little heart right there. And I think I want that to have a little dimension. So I'm going to pull this tape in. And I may end up regretting this, but... Okay, and now I am going to, that's going to be black and white. I don't want that one to be a different color. So I'm going to use my clear liquid mono glue. And I know that's really supposed to just be a leaf, but I kind of like it the way it is. And then I want to put this down before I adhere these other pieces. And I'm going to use some foam on this. And here's a tip about using this foam, or any foam. There's certain places that you can just leave your backing. You don't have to peel your backing off all your foam. It's just you put it there to give the lift that you need. Once your little embellishment is adhered, you don't need, like, I'm going to leave the backing there. I'm just going to pull the backing off this piece and this piece. And then I'm going to pull the backing off this piece. Make sure it's not covering up the face of that little girl. Okay, now that's going to add in some layers. Now I had this piece coming out there. And I may, it's a piece that I cut off here, and I may actually leave it. And then again, let's think about where. think I like it like that. So this one is just going to get adhered straight down to the page. Oh, that did not just happen. And this is what I love about having that stamp chamois, which I'm going to need to go rinse that stamp chamois out. But that picked up all that adhesive and it did not damage my photo. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. And then this one is going to go right there, and I only need some foam adhesive on that one piece right there. This one little piece right here. Okay, and then I want to color this little floral that's going to go there to pull in that sapphire. And so what I'm going to do is, I have, instead of having my all-purpose mat, I just have a Ziploc baggie. I'm going to press on my sapphire ink pad on the lid, and I'm going to pull in my watercolor pen, and I'm going to start a little darker down here in the areas that would be a little darker. And then I'm going to use this paper towel and just blot that off and barely go into the ink and pull up. And when I do that, that's going to give that watercolor darker at the center and lighter toward the petals. And I'm just going to set that to the side because I'll use that again. Love it. And I love that there's going to just be these little subtle pops of sapphire. And I think that will add just enough to this. At least I'm hoping so. Oh, yes. And I thought about even doing the watercolor on these, but I think I'm going to be okay. Oh, I dropped. How did that happen? It'll be okay. That'll dry. Okay, so this one is also going to get colored. I don't know how I did that. A little bit darker at the center of the flowers. And the size of these being that little, they're a little bit harder to do. And then just move the ink up the flower. I do think I want that in there. So let's add and I love the effect that the black and white has and then those little pops of color. I love it. Okay, now this we need to color. And I want this I want these little flowers to be the sapphire. I've debated back and forth if I want any other color in this, and I think I've weighed it out and I do not. I thought about actually doing the leaves, and then I thought, no, if I do the leaves, then I'm probably going to have to do the leaves on all of it. Everywhere I have leaves, and I don't want that, so I'm only doing these little floral, what appears to be little floral bits in the sapphire. Some of them I'm trying to make a little bit more vibrant. Some of them I'm trying to make a little more muted and subtle. And I am letting the water kind of go out the lines a little here and there so that it does look like watercolor. And this would have been really pretty to have stamped that on the watercolor paper. I could have done that as well. Okay, now on this one, I want my foam to be on that side, right here, and right here. At the top. And along the bottom. And I think I need a piece right in the middle, but I don't have to pull the and so the title is Love the Simple Life. And again, if that doesn't dry up on its own, then what I'll end up doing is I'll add another little spatter here and there. I think I want that to be a black and white flower, but then this one I want to be sapphire, so I'm going to go ahead and color this one, and that way it can be drying while so I'm going to start with the darker. This is one of my favorite ways to color our florals, and I'm not the greatest when it comes to knowing what to shade, where to put lighter and darker. And anytime our artists do this type of stamp that has those lines, to me, when I see that, that indicates that's going to be an area that's darker. And then the part that doesn't have those lines is going to indicate it's one of the lighter areas. And so that makes it easy. That's just an easy way for me to think about it. So if you struggle with feeling confident in how you shade and where lighter and darker ink or coloring would go, think about it that way. And that's what I love, like I said, about this type of stamp, is it makes it much easier for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little more water right there and mix in right here to make a lighter shade. And I'm just going to fill that in with that lighter shade. And I will want this to dry a little before I put this down on the page, and that's why I'm coloring this to let it dry just a little. I'm still struggling trying to get a good clear voice back after being sick. And I'm going to do something fun in the center of that flower. Beautiful. I love it. Isn't that pretty? And that's just going to pull in. It's going to give me that visual triangle of the blue. Love it. I'm going to lay that to the side. Now I'm going to attach this one. And I'm not using the liquid glue on this one. I'm just going to use my tape runner. And the reason I don't want to use the liquid glue is I don't want that photo to get wet. This one I'm going to attach with some adhesive foam tape. On just that side right there. And this didn't dry as much as I would like it to before adhering it, but it'll be okay. Look at that, how pretty. And then of course, you know we gotta have a little shimmer here, right? We have to have, I'm gonna pull in a shimmer pin. You saw that coming. If you follow me, you know you saw that coming, right? And I think I'm not gonna do these little flowers white over here. I think what I'm going to do on them is just stamp them in the black. I thought about stamping them in the sapphire, but I don't think so. So I'm going to show you how I clean this up. I'm just going to take just a paper towel, and I'm just going in where the water is, and all I'm doing is picking up that water. Okay? And that's all I have to do to clean up my ink pad. It's ready now. And then on my water brush, I'm just going to squeeze and wipe until it comes clear, until it runs clear. Okay, and then now that's ready to put away. Okay, so here I'm going to stamp with black, if I can find my black. I've allowed my desk to become a tad bit messy. And all I'm going to do here is just stamp those little flowers on. Missed that one. Totally missed it. My head may get in the camera, and if it does, I'm so sorry. But I need to be over this. And I may end up putting like a little gem or something there to help disguise that, because it is a little bit darker. Okay. I just love the wispiness of it. What do you think? Do you love the wispiness of it? Okay, and now the final things I'm going to do. I feel like to add more sapphire, and I think sapphire is needed. I'm going to come in, there's this little like spatter stamp. I'm going to add just a little sapphire in these 3 places. So I have that visual triangle connecting there. I love it. And then I feel like maybe I want to add some of these little, I think I like these little stars. And I think I like the larger one better. And I think I've decided that that is also going to be sapphire. I just feel like I need to pull that sapphire in. a little bit better here and there. And I'm loving this. Loving it. Okay, and then I think, let me just look at my carrier sheet and see if there's anything else I wanted to add. I want to add a few of these little bits and bobbles. So I'm going to pull from the itty bitty ones first. And I'm going to leave them out because I may come back to them. And I'm purposefully putting that on that flower since I had to double stamp that, and it's a little, it got a little off right there. It won't be as obvious now. And I think that's all for that embellishment as far as that. Oh no, I see a place I want to add some. Right here, I need a couple. And then let's go to... Love it. Love it, love it. I need to stop now because I could just keep going on that. But I need to stop now. Okay, so what I'm looking for now is my clear shimmer brush. And all I'm doing is adding some shimmer. Squeeze a little. And I'll move that off the page so I don't have any more mishaps. And on these, all I'm doing is just going over that stamped ink with the shimmer. And that's what I'm going to do here as well. And that's just going to add just a little something, something. The clear shimmer brush is probably one of my favorite little special touches to add, especially to anything floral. It just, to me, it just makes it, and I'm going to put a little here just so that sort of has shimmer as well. And then what I'm going to do on this one is I'm just going to kind of follow those more sugar plum, darker little circles. I'm not doing the whole, I'm not going to go in the whole floral. Same way here, I'm just going to sort of replicate maybe a little bit of that veining. And I know that's hard to see on the camera. I know that's hard to see on the camera. And then all I'm going to do is just pick that. So if you don't have an all-purpose mat, I have one. It's just this was easier for me to continue to work. You can pull in a Ziploc baggie or one of your plastic storage bags. And then my journaling will go right here. And I think, oh, there's my page. Sorry about that, guys. My phone was saying low battery, so sorry about that shake. There's my page. What do you think? Can you see any of that shimmer on those florals? I hope so. They're beautiful. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and leave me a comment down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with other folks who like scrapbooking. And again, if you've made it this far to the end, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And this is the first in what hopefully will be a long series of Throwback Thursdays. Thanks, guys, and happy scrapping.